new stage in Atlanta is ready. Welcome to the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game on ESPN. Renewing hostilities for the first time in 3 decades. Former SEC rivals, Tennessee and Georgia Tech, now an SEC-ACC battle tonight. Big Orange has rolled a couple hours south down here and taken over many of the seats inside this new football palace in the heart of Atlanta. Glad to have you with us, Reese Davis and Kirk Herbstreit here. 5 straight days of college football. What better way to finish off the Labor Day weekend than this kind of matchup? And the bar's been set pretty high the first few days.
Man, really, even Thursday night, that first half with Ohio State and Indiana, it seems like that was a month ago, by the way, all the way through to last night. I mean, who would have ever imagined UCLA fighting all the way back, down 44-10? The West Virginia Tech game was great. We just need a little dessert tonight with Tennessee and Georgia Tech.
So let's serve you up a little orange right now. Butch Jones in Tennessee coming off a 9-4 season that was a little bit of a disappointment relative to the expectations and trying to recapture some momentum.
Well, I think the one thing about Tennessee is there's always pressure on whoever the head coach is. It's Butch Jones. He's got to find a new quarterback. Josh Dobbs is no longer there, the guy that he can rely on. So who's he going to go with? He's going to go with Quentin Dormandy initially, the junior. He's the backup last year to Dobbs. A little bit more familiar with the offense, a little bit more command in spring and in camp. That's why he will get the nod over the redshirt freshman Jared Garantano. One thing to remember about this young quarterback or inexperienced quarterback are the playmakers around him. Tennessee, even though they're young and maybe some inexperience, they have electrifying ability. John Kelly takes over at tailback, and Jajuan Jennings, who made so many big catches last year, will be the leader now on the outside at wide receiver. It's exciting to see kind of this new era of offense, and let's see how Dormandy does in his first career start.
And an old era of offense for Georgia Tech. It's something that Paul Johnson has grown tired of hearing the questions about because they move the ball with the triple option. No matter what they do, they'll have a new quarterback tonight.
Yeah, they have a new quarterback making his first start as well. Taquan Marshall is a guy that has quickness. The door opened up for him in the spring. He's a guy that's familiar with how to run this scheme. When the door opened up, he took advantage of it. Now, he's a guy, when he gets out on the edge, he can make things happen like a lot of these Georgia Tech quarterbacks. And we'll see how he does or if they make a change themselves. And another guy that has ability around him. This is a guy that will be in the middle, the B-back, which to us means fullback. Avante Benson, you see his size, 5'11", or 5'9", 211 pounds, which means he's short, low center of gravity, very tough to bring down, and electrifying speed. Ran a 10.6 in high school in 100, so it tells you if he can get a crease, he can take it to the house.
Tennessee eagerly awaiting the start of this season and renewing acquaintances with Georgia Tech. It's the 44th time these two have met, first time at a neutral site. Once upon a time, this was one of the Deep South's better rivalries, but they haven't played since 1987, a game that the Volunteers won. Bobby Dodd was a former Tennessee quarterback and, of course, the head coach at Georgia Tech.
I got your back.
Have you got my back? You need to yell it out.
I got Maria's back.
I've got Maria's back, too. Maria Taylor, do you have our backs?
I got you, Reese. And, Coach, we heard you telling your team, do they have your back? How do you have Quentin Dormandy's back in his first start here as a Volunteer?
Well, he's going to have to get off to a quick start, and that's everyone around him, and really get into a rhythm and the flow of the game early.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Maria. But you know what? If Tennessee's successful tonight, they always recite General Neyland's maxims to win the game. Maybe they'll add, I've got your back to it. Georgia Tech won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so the Volunteers will receive. Deep, Evan Berry and Micah Abernathy. Evan Berry in his career has 4 kickoff returns, 4 touchdowns. Sean Davis will be the one to put total leather to get us underway on Labor Day night in Atlanta. And this is Berry. Berry's got an alley. Stays on his feet and gets out close to the 40-yard line, and the Volunteers will have excellent field position for Quentin Dormandy.
6'4", 216 pounds. Quarterback that was a 4-star out of high school. Heavily recruited, decided to head to Knoxville, been a backup to Josh Dobbs. Different skill set. You're used to watching Tennessee with Josh Dobbs. You think of a dual threat, a guy that can scramble, make plays. Now, while Dormandy can get around and scramble, they're going to be a little bit more from the pocket and relying more on the backs, more jet sweeps and screens and things of that nature.
First carry of the season goes to John Kelly. Georgia Tech got in the backfield, but Kelly kept those feet working and picks up maybe 7 before Knoxville native Brant Mitchell got him to the turf.
How about that? One of our Chick-fil-A impact players right away getting involved here. John Kelly, he takes over the reins. Remember, Alvin Kamara is gone. Obviously, Jalen Hurd has moved on as well and quit. Jajuan Jennings on the outside. There we go. Both of our impact players making plays here early.
You are on fire. Impact players, Kelly, then Jennings. Jennings from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, caught the game-winning Hail Mary touchdown pass against Georgia.
And Georgia Tech defensively, with Ted Roof, their defense coordinator, they've got to load up the line of scrimmage and try to take away John Kelly's ability to run the ball and the offensive line's ability to block. So Jennings is going to get some one-on-one opportunities on the outside.
Still on the ground with penetration by the Yellow Jackets. Desmond Branch back there to make the tackle.
And when you have an undersized defensive line, you've got to slant and angle. Watch him shoot the gap here. Good call by Ted Roof to mix it up. You know, you can't just sit and play base with this defense. This is a Georgia Tech defense. It's a bend but don't break. Try to get you off the field on 3rd down. Try to stop you in the red zone, force a field goal. They're going to move up front a lot. That time it pays off for Branch.
Dormity's second throw is at the knees or maybe the shins of Jennings, so it'll be 3rd and 12.
They just want him to settle in. He's got plenty of arm to make all the throws. It's about trying to get him, you know, like any quarterback, you get into a rhythm. And when you're a new quarterback in this kind of a setting, you want to try to get back there, and coach is trying to call plays that you've told him all week. Hey, I like this one. I like this one. That one, it was open. He just misfired. It's an area that Georgia Tech struggled mightily a year ago. 126th in the nation out of 128 teams at getting teams off the field on 3rd down.
Nearly half the time teams were successful. Dormity needs 12, has time, fires, and is deflected and knocked away. And again, it is the Knoxville native Brant Mitchell making a play. Grew up a Tennessee fan, and he's made a couple of plays against the Big Orange so far.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator, has got to be happy with that stop. But you're right, Mitchell is fired up to play this game. He actually, without him sinking in coverage, that's a conversion on 3rd down. The ball is well thrown to Tyler Bird, but let's give a nod to Brant Mitchell. Went to Webb School in Knoxville there, makes a big play.
Trevor Daniel averaged better than 45 yards a punt. Brad Stewart back to return it. Time short. Stewart goes to save some yardage. Very important for returners on those types of kicks to save yardage. And Stewart does just that. Jackets will have it when you come back. If only they could really build stadiums this quickly. Broke ground at Mercedes-Benz Stadium late 2014, 39 months, and it's a state-of-the-art venue. Now, not quite ready to open and close the roof in 12 minutes like they will be when it's all done. So the roof has been closed for the Falcons preseason games for Alabama, Florida State on Saturday night. And also tonight, Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Volunteers punted on their first possession, and the toss on Georgia Tech's first offensive play goes to Quay Searcy as Daquan Marshall making the start at quarterback for the Ramblin' Wreck.
5'10", 180 pounds, incredibly quick. Now remember, even though he hasn't made a start, this is his 3rd year in the system, so he's very familiar with how this offense, how the offense operates. And actually, go back to 2015, he was an A-back. I mean, so he really, an A-back for these guys are the flex backs that you'll see kind of to the outside where a tight end normally would be, a little bit off the line of scrimmage. So he's seen this offense from a different perspective.
Quarterback draw, Marshall squirting his way up to across the 25-yard line. 3rd down and short coming, and that's where Tech makes a lot of its money as we take a look at tonight's impact players brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
We mentioned Avante Benson, who'll be the fullback. Quay Searcy, they've got to try to get out on the edge. On the outside for Tennessee, defensive end Jonathan Kongbo is a great player, moved him from tackle out to end. And also, we'll see Rashawn Galton, usually a nickelback, but they're going to play him at corner tonight just because, into the boundary, because of the type of offense that Georgia Tech runs. It's very physical.
Ramblin' Wreck yet to convert on 3rd down tonight. And now they have Benson lowering his pads, still on his feet. There are a lot of orange jerseys having to wrestle down that big fella as he gets across the 35, and a first down for Georgia Tech.
They brought the left guard around Parker Braun. Some young players up front in that offensive line that are probably trying to settle in. It's not just the skill players, but big 75. He'll come right towards you, picks up a nice block, and gives some the instincts that time of Benson. He's able to cut back underneath that, and that gives you an idea about his leg drive and his low center of gravity.
On first down, Marshall will follow the dive man. Good pickup on first down. He gets across the 40, up close to the 44-yard line.
It's one thing to have a good start against Georgia Tech. You can't celebrate. You can't get too excited. You can't pat yourself on the back because this is never ending. The focus and the discipline, they lull you to sleep with run. There's 10 runs and they haven't thrown yet. You're a safety. Your eyes start to peek into that backfield. That's when they come down the line and they take a shot behind you. Stay focused and disciplined.
Pitch is slapped down. Great defensive play to just absolutely wreck the option. Darrell Taylor was back there again, Kirk, for the second time.
Boy, he is having a night. Darrell Taylor, the sophomore. Everybody wondered what's Tennessee going to do after losing all those great defensive ends, Barnett, Vereen, and Lewis. They've got a great group, and we're seeing it tonight. Darrell Taylor just too quick. I think he surprised Marshall with how quick he got in there. He wasn't ready to make the pitch. When you run this offense as a quarterback, that's the first thing you got to be ready to do. In case they collapse down in a hurry, you got to get the ball out.
9-yard loss leaves the Jackets with 3rd and 12. Marshall, first throw of the night is complete. June has it. He's racing free. And Ricky June will be knocked out of bounds at around the 20, and a big play on 3rd down.
Not something you see a lot of from Georgia Tech on 3rd and long like this, an obvious passing situation. But how about Marshall making that throw, and then June not only gets open, but he doesn't give up on the play. Great route, perfect timing, but then he cuts back inside away from Justin Martin and picks up about another 30 yards.
A 44-yard gain, and how about that dime that he dropped right over Nigel Warrior and put it right on June. First threat of the night for either team. Marshall had an alley, but just getting a hand on his shoe was who else? Taylor.
Well, these splits on this offensive line, and we'll talk about it throughout the game, but very, very different than anything else you defend. See how wide those splits are? Widens that defense out, creates some seams for the quarterback and running backs to try to slip through. Continue to pull that left guard, Parker Braun, around, leading the way to that play side.
That might have been a big play if Braun could have cut Taylor as he tried to do. Benson slamming up on the inside, and he'll be a couple of yards short of the first down.
That must be their answer. That time the big fella Divine, 380 pounds, number 71. He pulled around that time, and Jonathan Kongbo, I don't think he knew it hit it when 380 came around. Knocked him back.
I don't know how many plays they can get out of Divine, but he's certainly big enough to clear the path when he's in there. Cottrell in motion. Marshall follows. Knifes his way down to the 10, and it'll be a first down for Georgia Tech. It'll be 1st and goal for the Yellow Jackets. Marshall ran right out of his shoe on that play. Junior from Hamilton, Georgia, which is about an hour and 15 minutes down the interstate from here in Atlanta. Making his first start of the season. Played in a couple of games last year. Played A-back as a freshman, which is Kirk told you earlier. It's the halfback position. The one that's coming in motion there is Quay Searcy, but they give it to Benson, and he almost takes it into the end zone. He's knocked down just short. Georgia Tech is knocking on the door at the 1. Look at Benson with that low center of gravity. He runs right through Batuli.
Really, this drive, they've done a good job of mixing up enough to be able to open up the middle. Aggressive pylon cam give you a really good angle there, but a little bit more diversity as we talk about Paul Johnson feeling things out.
11th play of the drive. Marshall sneaking it. Let's see when they unpile. And they'll say the Big Orange stopped him just short.
If I'm Marshall or I'm Benson, I'm asking Paul Johnson, can I follow Shamir Devine at 380 pounds behind that right guard? I mean, he's getting movement.
On this drive, the Yellow Jackets are 3 for 3 on 3rd down, but with the nose of the football almost touching the goal line, barring some type of negative play, you got to think they're taking 2 shots at this if they need it. They won't. Touchdown Georgia Tech in the Ramblin' Wreck behind Jajuan Marshall on the board in a vintage Paul Johnson drive that ate up over 6 minutes on the clock, 6:51 to be precise.
Watch that right guard. That's the way you want to go. Right behind him at 380. He actually played, I think, either all of that drive or most of that drive. And that is a great job of adjusting. As you said, almost 7 minutes, 12 plays, 86 yards. Great job by Paul Johnson in this offense, adjusting to that team speed from Tennessee on those first couple drives.
When you play these option teams, that's what you wonder about. You can stop them for a while, but do you have the resiliency to continue to stop them time after time after time?
I also realized that Marshall's throw on 3rd down was about probably as important of a play to keep that drive alive and give maybe kind of even that playing field against that team speed at Tennessee as much as anything.
Evan Berry had a good return to the opener. Evan Berry headed for the rail. Now back to the middle and knocked down at the 45-yard line. He couldn't quite get loose, but a great answer from Tennessee to end the first quarter.
Well, that's the 2nd time he's come close to getting out. It's a good job of blocking actually up front. He hits that perfect timing. Kicker actually tries to get involved, but great effort by Tennessee blocking downfield. And Vols are going to start in plus territory, try to even the score.
Ready to start the 2nd quarter. Chase Herbstreit waving to America.
Far left, traps. Christopher Davis, far right.
A little muscle down far right, let me tell you. Tennessee after the turnover, and into the game is Ty Chandler, the freshman running back, and he gets it.
Ty Chandler out of Nashville, Montgomery Bell Academy, a great program in Middle Tennessee, a great high school program. And tell you what, he is a great high school football player, showing he's ready for the big time in the SEC. The coaches said he had a great camp, explosive, physical, picked up the offense very quickly, and he's going to get his first chance. That's his first collegiate carry.
More than 2,200 yards, 39 touchdowns. Montgomery Bell, Quentin Dormady looks like he wants to take a shot, throws it into traffic, and that was ill-advised, looking for Jennings.
Yeah, he didn't see him. Georgia Tech fools him there with their coverage. He's got a crossing route, and he just underestimated and just kind of lost the robber in the middle of that coverage. Very fortunate that that ball was not intercepted. Like Corey Griffin kind of sunk in coverage, and quarterback just did not see him.
Tennessee has only 1 first down tonight. An area that we told you that the Jackets really struggled last year was getting teams off the field on 3rd down. Ted Roof said it was the key, and they've done it well so far. Dormady fires, first down Vols. Jennings has it inside the 35.
That time they do a nice job of picking up the blitz and giving him some time. They're going to shoot right through here. See the tight end with a quick slant, kind of a double slant look with the tight end Wolf and his favorite target, Jennings. Jennings that time holds on, secures the ball, gets ready to be hit, and gets the first down.
Jennings a little bit shaken up after taking that big hit from Lawrence Austin, but it's a first down for Tennessee. Their 2nd of the night. Kelly's into the open field inside the 20. Kelly driving inside the 15, and another first down for the Big Orange.
That is a great job on the right side of that offensive line. 75, Jajuan Robertson, and Trey Smith, the right guard, the true freshman, one of the most highly touted freshmen in the country, blowing Georgia Tech off the ball and open that up for John Kelly.
Pickup of 22, right back to him. Kelly turning the corner, and he is greeted by Brant Mitchell.
So they pound you up the middle. Georgia Tech starts squeezing down, and then they go to the outside. That time, Big Trey Smith, 73. Keep an eye on the right guard. 6'6", 320 pounds. Everybody in the world wanted Trey Smith. And as Butch Jones said, you know, the greatest thing about him has been his attitude. He's kind of changed the culture, kind of a tough guy for an offensive lineman, which I love to see.
This is where offensive linemen need to be tough. Balls can get a first down without scoring. You have to get it to the 2. Pressure coming, high snap. Dormady throwing it up and too high. He's out there looking for Brandon Johnson. It'll be 3rd and 5.
He did a heck of a job just to be able to get the snap and then also not give up on the pass. Gives you an idea about his athletic ability. That's a one-handed snatch, and then instead of just aborting it, he still stays in rhythm and timing and tries to put the ball up to Johnson. A little bit more air, and that would have been a heck of a play by the quarterback.
Tennessee has converted just once on 3rd down. See if the Jackets can be effective again and force a field goal attempt. Dormady, a lot of time, firing to the outside. It's complete, big hit, and he'll be very close to the 1st down. And that's Wolf making the catch. He almost had the big play down the middle of the field. Jalen Johnson hit him, and I believe it's going to be 1st and goal for Tennessee.
Yeah, you start thinking they got to get in the end zone, but I don't know if Georgia Tech thought that or not, but that is a great effort by Wolf. That second and 3rd effort is what picked up that 1st down. Pretty good coverage there by Tech, but the strength of Wolf gets the 1st down.
To Kelly, diving and scoring, and Tennessee's on the board.
They finally take advantage of positive field position. Started this drive in Georgia Tech territory. Kelly was able to get out on a big run. Wolf with the effort there on 3rd down to get him down close. And the athletic ability of Kelly up in the air for the 1st down.
Progressive pylon cam showing you Kelly getting some air. Kelly, who didn't really grow up wanting to be a great running back. He wanted to be a great skateboarder, wanted to be a pro skateboarder. Little Tony Hawk. There's something going into the end zone. Aaron Medley will try to tie it up. And he does. Just over 8 minutes left here in the 1st half, and Tennessee is on the board. We're tied at 7. October 1st of last year, Georgia and Tennessee. Jacob Eason finding Riley Ridley. By the way, our best of Jacob, who's hurt, won't be able to play against Notre Dame this week. But Tennessee had the answer. Joshua Dobbs to Jajuan Jennings, and Jennings caught the game-winning touchdown pass on the Hail Mary 34-31 victory. Jennings just had a big catch on this most recent drive, but leaving the field, we'll check on his status in a bit. And there is Joshua Dobbs, former Tennessee quarterback, now with the Steelers. Got a chance to visit with him on the field before the game. One of the nicest young men you'll ever see. And there's old Smokey, the blue tick hound. How you doing down there tonight, Maria?
Pretty good, Reese. I saw Josh Dobbs catching up with Quentin Dormady before the last series. They were talking through whatever Dormady is seeing on the field. And he did talk to him before the game started and said, hey, don't try to make a play to start out this game. Let the game come to you, and you will be able to make those plays down the stretch in the 4th quarter, guys.
Maria, how cool is that to have not just your quarterback coach, your offensive coordinator, your head coach, but the guy that you've been backing up the last couple years also here in your first start to try to help you out. Good stuff.
Marshall going to take a shot, lays it up high, and just out of reach of Brad Stewart.
Tennessee getting some pressure, pretty good effort there to put that ball up in the air, but if nothing else, it does stretch the defense. It lets the defense and reminds the defense that if you're going to load up, we're going to take some shots. And Brad Stewart, you know, up against a safety, that's a matchup, or even a linebacker there.
McDowell,
yeah, that's a matchup obviously they're going to take. So I like the play call there. You know, puts them behind here at 2nd and 10. I like the call by Paul Johnson.
Back on the ground. The B-back Benson. And when you know that you've got the inside run working, you can take a shot on first down and still wind up with a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to run the football, and I think they're starting to get to that second level, getting to those linebackers, especially in the middle. Colton Jumper, Elliott Berry right now in the game as well. We still have Emmanuel Mosley, who is in for Justin Martin, playing at the field corner.
Dorsey in motion, and Marshall dives ahead and picks up the first down.
The linebackers took the big fullback Benson out there. Great read by the quarterback Marshall, and that's, again, we keep talking about it. Their whole thing is staying on schedule. They get 4 yards, they get 4 yards, they get to that 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Odds are in their favor because they can just do so many different things with that quarterback in this offense. Makes it tough to stop.
You love watching this offense. Just take you back to the high school days.
Yeah,
old Centerville Elks.
We ran something pretty similar to this.
And the pitch. Benson this time getting the pitch on the corner, and oftentimes that B-back stays inside. And there's another little wrinkle from Johnson that gets Benson in that speed on the edge.
You know, and what this does is it's not just the physical part of defending this option. It's also trying to defend, the different angles of the blocks. I mean, look out here. Watch what he's dealing with. You got to deal with a potential block. He's thinking, what's the read? What's the read? Boom. Now he's got to back down at his knees. And you just see the energy from the Tennessee defense now. Is it the same as it was early?
Benson behind the pads up to midfield. First down, Georgia Tech. Benson playing that B-back position after Dedrick Mills was dismissed from the squad for a violation of Athletic Association policy. And boy, is he taking advantage of his opportunity.
Paul Johnson and his staff do a great job of recruiting guys that can eventually grow to become a B-back or a fullback, but they're all kind of recruited with the A-back, the flex back mentality. You're either a high school quarterback or you're a high school tailback, and eventually you either grow in to become that fullback, but they all have similar skill set.
Back to Benson. Now he's picking up 5-6 yards a chunk almost every time he touches it. You just saw that time of possession graphic, Kirk, come up. Some teams start to wear you down in this day and age of college football by running a million plays at you. Georgia Tech does it by leaving you on the field forever dealing with this option.
Yeah, and Butch Jones told us yesterday in a meeting, we're going to get 7 or 8 possessions maybe in this game. I mean, we saw 7 or 8 possessions in the Indiana-Ohio State game in the first quarter. He's talking about 7 or 8 for the game.
Marshall keeps it. He gets down close to the first down. I think he's going to get another first down. He's keeping the Tennessee offense over there on the side. To your point, in that Indiana-Ohio State game that you and I saw on Thursday night that you called, there were 100 offensive plays in the first half of the game. Ohio State ran 42 of them. Georgia Tech won a game last year, a game in which they ran 41 offensive plays. That was fewer. I mean,
but that's why it's so hard to get ready for these guys. It's just a completely different challenge.
Now Marshall's going to throw. Gets out of there, running room. Marshall gets by McDowell, and he'll step out of bounds with another Georgia Tech first down. I think Marshall might have had a little better opportunity to elude even another tackle, but he seemed to lose his footing there.
Now, Cortez McDowell got left on an island against a quarterback that's really, really elusive, and he does the best job that he can, but he gets shook, and an easy first down there by Taquan Marshall, who, by the way, you asking me the difference between early and now, they're having some success driving the ball, mixing up their looks, and I think their quarterback making his first start, he's settling down and making the reads, and in that case, just improvising and making a play.
And a couple of big third down throws, and he's run for 43 yards. Marshall looking for room, and this time not going to find it. Colton Jumper jumps on him and gets Marshall for a short gain.
And with Darren Kirkland down and out for the year, Colton Jumper, who had been practicing prior to that injury as an outside linebacker, they've had to move him back to the middle. And again, it's a position he's familiar with. He started at the middle linebacker spot last year against Florida and Georgia, so he's got a lot of versatility, but move into the middle, hoping that he can swarm tonight and make a lot of tackles. That time he does a nice job.
Well, you have to find Marshall, too. He's 5'10", and then gets down low to take that snap. Benson almost lost his footing, maintained it. That 600-pound squat helped him stay upright there, and he drives inside the 10. It'll be 3rd down and short coming for the Jackets.
I don't know if the snap came up slow or what, but all I know is Marshall better get out of the way. Watch this right guard. Watch the big fella coming around. Heads up. Look out. 380 pulling around. Does a nice job of getting a little push out. But Marshall better get out of the way in a hurry before big Divine to take out anybody in his path.
It's largely Tennessee crowd trying to exhort their defense to get a stop on 3rd down. Tech's been successful 70% of the time. Marshall in the counter, got running room if he can get to the edge. He's inside the 10 and knocked out of bounds at about the 5. And I think Marshall got the 1st down.
It's good of a game tonight as we've seen from Batuli. Watch how he doesn't allow himself to get out here. He's got to run out here and not get outflanked. He's waiting and waiting and waiting. And against a guy that's quicker than you, give yourself a head start and get out there. Force him to cut back in, but you cannot let him get to the corner.
How about another 3rd down play from Marshall as Benson slams down close to the goal line, knocked down at about the 2, I think is where they'll spot it.
How about 8 of 11 in the game for the Georgia Tech offense? 8 of 11. I mean, that's wheelhouse material for Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech. That's exactly what they want to see from their offense to be able to kind of keep that rhythm going. And you made a great point. This defense, it's not the same in defending a team that's going to run it 100 times like we saw in a national championship game with Clemson against Alabama where they wore them down. But it is more about the mental fatigue where you don't get the ball. I mean, they possess the ball for so long, and to start the second half, they're still going to have the football.
And even outpassed him by 30 yards. Benson slipped 1 tackle in the backfield and got into the end zone for the touchdown. Avante Benson. This dude's a load now.
Well, he's got the combination of speed, but the power is the reason he's playing that B-back spot. And watch him push through this big linebacker, Batuli, at 6'3", 240 pounds, just enough to get across the line for that touchdown.
With a progressive pylon cam, Khalil McKenzie had a shot at him in the backfield, but it's hard to just grab that leg and pull him down.
That's what the squats do for you, right?
Yeah.
The hang cleans and the
What
squats.
I'm told. Benson all 5'9", 211 pounds of him. Parents have talked about how he's really matured, showing up on time for everything, and boy, is it paying off tonight. Tech will have it first when we come back in the second half. Dominant first half for Georgia Tech. Ed Nemberg, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer, Mercedes-Benz halftime report coming up after these messages. Welcome back to Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and the Chick-fil-A kickoff game on ESPN just about set to start the 3rd quarter between Tennessee and Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets held the ball for the vast majority of the first half. They have a 14-7 lead, and they will get the ball to start the second half. And the Volunteers need to find a way to get the ball back swiftly. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Maria Taylor down on the sidelines for us tonight. So what does Tennessee need to change in order to slow down this running game and get the Georgia Tech offense off the field?
Well, Bob Shoop's got to do a good job of getting them to believe the way they were in the first half. That first half, those first 2 or 3 series, they had a plan. And Paul Johnson adjusted. I think they've got to go back to attacking the line of scrimmage. They got a little bit fatigued for obvious reasons. Georgia Tech possessed the ball there for those 2 long drives. To me, the big thing is they cannot allow Georgia Tech to come up with more points. The way Georgia Tech eats up the clock, if Tennessee gets into obvious passing situations, that's trouble. You got a quarterback right now that's not necessarily feeling it. And with Jajuan Jennings out, they don't have a lot of receivers. They cannot become one-dimensional and get down by a couple scores, or that becomes a big issue, I think, for this offense.
Quentin Dormady making his first start for Tennessee at quarterback. You anticipate seeing a quarterback change in the second half when the Volunteers get the ball, if they get it anytime soon, based on the first half?
Yeah, I mean, we're speculating. I think you could crush you could crush one quarterback by going to the other. He does now. If you look at Garantano, he does look like he's strapped up and ready to go. You have Dormady over there on the bike, so we'll keep an eye on it. It wouldn't surprise me at some point if they bring him in, if they continue to struggle to provide a spark.
Yeah. But, you know, to be fair to Dormady, he's 8 of 20, but he had 5 drops, as counted by our statistician, Mark Amentos. The second half underway, and this is J.J. Green. And Tennessee with pretty good coverage stops him short of the 20-yard line as we check in with Maria.
Well, Reese, as Tennessee tries to battle back from being down 1 touchdown, they'll have to do it without their star wideout, Jajuan Jennings. He's out for the remainder of the game. Now, an official word on the exact injury has not been given to us, but as you saw him walking off the field and talking with the trainers, he was holding an area between his wrist and his hand and grimacing a lot. And when he left, he did not go towards the locker room. They took him through another tunnel, and here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they are equipped to do x-rays, MRIs, and everything in order to evaluate the injury.
Maria, that is a huge blow to the Tennessee offense, and back to the ground. And just like we saw in the latter part of the first half, Avante Benson with a good pickup on the dive.
I think it's important for the leadership of Tennessee to step up here. Whoever that leader is, I mean, you would think Colton Jumper could be one of those guys. Somebody's got to make a play, because the last couple times Georgia Tech's had the ball, they've had it for a long time, and they've gotten into a little bit of a rhythm and feeling what Tennessee's doing.
Benson out across the 30, and it's another first down for the Rambling Wreck. And this Georgia Tech offensive line is still young. Center, left guard, left tackle, all sophomores, all played quite a bit as freshmen last year. And they were not one of the more experienced offensive lines coming back from last year, but they have really played well as the night has gone along.
Well, I think that game experience, that it was probably a little bit premature last year in getting them out there, but they were forced into it because of the injuries. A year later, now you've got a veteran bunch. Now you've got a group that feels pretty good about it. They go tackle over to the right side here. Let's see if they run right.
Jaquan Marshall with the pitch. Marshall across the 40, and he scampers out of bounds with another Yellow Jacket first down. Micah Abernathy chased him out, and Georgia Tech's got him on the run.
Watch this block right here on Jumper, who's trying to pursue and trying to get there to make a play. Watch Benson right there. By making that block on the linebacker, he freed up his quarterback, Marshall, to pick up another 5 or 7 yards. Great effort, great block by Benson. I love to see that, because Benson's going to get the ball a lot playing B-back. But to sell out like that and make a block for his quarterback tells you a lot.
Marshall has a pitch man, but keeps it.
I mean, they're getting 4 or 5 yards.
They picked up about 5 there.
So now, okay, last 2 plays, they've hit the perimeter. They've gone to the edge. You're on this Tennessee defense, and you've seen fullback, you've seen counter, you've seen they're trying to get the ball to the outside. Now you start thinking about, okay, I got to worry about leverage. I got to be outside here. I got to make sure they can't get outside of me. Guess what's coming next? They're coming right up the middle. They're just mixing it up constantly.
Benson up the middle, sort of slid to the outside. It'll be very close to another Georgia Tech first down. Now watch Paul sitting in the play here. There's no Daffy Duck on the play card.
No. Old school.
No picture of Soul Street on some card here. He's going to run it in with the receiver, right?
Yep. That's the way we do it here. They're actually in a huddle, too. You ever seen one of those?
I thought those were against the rules now. By the way, they are moving the chains now and just now getting them set. And did get the first down on the last run. Jackets are back in Tennessee territory. Benson. He just squirted out the other side with that low center of gravity. Got inside the 40 down to the 39. Pickup of nearly 7.
Doing a good job on that defensive line. Bob Shoop in the glasses there, getting frustrated. You know, the kryptonite over the years to Paul Johnson's offense is a defensive line that can just completely dominate the line of scrimmage. We've seen that at times from Kendall Vickers and the group, but over the long haul of this game, they've gotten worn out, gotten tired.
Here's Benson, and Benson gets inside the 35. It's another first down. Now, this weekend when we were talking with the coaches, Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator from Georgia Tech, said the one thing that he liked about his job is he could sit up in the coach's box and eat hot dogs. Well, Ted's going to have to spend a little extra time on the elliptical, because I imagine he's putting out some dogs tonight, because his defense has not been on the field at all.
Oh, they faced 28 snaps tonight. That's it.
Here comes Marshall again. Marshall into the open field. Marshall inside the 20, cutting back, headed for the end zone. And Tennessee corrals him at the 5, but it'll be first and goal for Georgia Tech.
It's a nice job again by the fullback. Watch Benson without the football. Gonna go around, take his time, look up that middle linebacker jumper. You're also gonna see Quay Searcy right there pick up a nice block in the middle of the field. And as slow developing as that is, with the leverage and the blocking angles, there's a great block. There's one right in front of you blocking on Abernathy. With those angles that they have, as slow as that is, there's nobody out there to stop the quarterback.
Well, Benson just took out Dylan Bates, who was in for Daniel Batuli, who was winded. Benson this time is stopped. Batuli, Kirk, has 17 tackles tonight, and he had to come out of the game. He was just gassed, and you saw Bates get the business into the block from Benson.
This is they're to the 5-yard line, second and goal. I mean, the way this game has gone, to get down by 14 to this offense, that's like in a normal game, you're down by 4 or 5 touchdowns. I mean, they cannot afford to give up a touchdown on this drive.
Quick toss, headed to the corner. Knocked down is Quay Searcy, short of the goal line. Rashawn Golden there to get him, with a little help from Cortez McDowell.
Yeah, great effort by McDowell to get out there. 20 gets in there, and then also guy we've not called yet tonight at all is Golden. Good effort by both those guys to keep him short.
Maybe an early present for all Georgia Tech fans with another touchdown. And Georgia Tech has stretched the lead to 20-7 with the extra point pending. Jajuan Marshall going in for his second score of the night.
Jajuan Marshall just following the fullback Benson, relying on that push by that big offensive line. Lowest man's going to win, and instead of relying on the fullback, he instead just gets behind the fullback.
And Marshall's had a fine debut as the starting quarterback. 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's only completed 2 passes, but both of them were on 3rd down and were big time throws. Sean Davis knocks through the extra point. Timeout. Well, that won't help Tennessee. After all, they do have more kick return yards than total offense tonight, and Georgia Tech will get a little extra room to kick from. Tennessee sent Ty Chandler back. It's been Evan Berry, who's had a couple of big kickoff returns tonight. Well, I'm going to assume Davis will just knock this out of the back of the end zone, and he does. There's 3:14 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Georgia Tech has dominated time of possession. They've held the ball for more than 31 minutes. They've carved Tennessee up with this option attack. And Tennessee now coming in. Here's Chase Herbstreit. There's a camera right here.
Say what up.
Chase up here watching the game. Chase would like to run that option. Dormady throws it out in the flat. Incomplete. Pick up of about 6. Now Saturday night, Chase has had a big weekend here. He enjoyed a couple of games before the Alabama-Florida State game. Here's Lee Fitting, Vice President, College Sports, firing.
Hey! Way to hold on to that. Lee Fitting with an assist.
Thought the catch was better than the throw.
Just like his golf swing.
Way to save him. Dormady picks up the 1st down for Tennessee. Chase had the Julio Jones jersey on for a while too. Helped him with that catch, especially in what's Julio's new house here.
This is like the Lee Corso interview in Bloomington.
Yeah.
Might as well give him a headset.
Yeah.
Finish off the second half.
I don't think Tennessee's that far out of it just yet. Going to have to totally emptied the tank. That was only Tennessee's 6th first down, and miscommunication now as Dormady threw the go to Brandon Johnson, and Johnson broke off the route, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Definitely worth reiterating that Butch Jones has a quarterback that's trying to throw, and in an obvious down 14, they got to air it out, and they don't have a lot of experience at receiver. Jennings out, Josh Smith isn't dressed tonight. A lot of new faces out there. Test the timing.
This time on the same page as Johnson makes the catch. You know, Herbie, this weekend I was talking to Georgia Tech's outstanding corner, Lance Austin. He really anticipated Tennessee taking some deep shots at him and doing so early, and really the Volunteers haven't done that tonight. They haven't, when they had Jennings in the game before he was hurt, tried to take advantage of that size or anything against the smaller Georgia Tech corners. Tech said they were ready for it, but they haven't really faced it tonight up to this point.
And that secondary, though, they played a lot of football. It was a veteran group.
Dormady has his tight end. Wolf gets the first down and rumbles down to the 35-yard line.
A nice job here, just kind of setting this up. Watch him set up a wall and get to the outside. A lot of traffic for that secondary to try to work through. Well-designed play there by Tennessee, and all of a sudden they've got something going here in Georgia Tech territory.
Kelly slips a tackle. John Kelly inside the 20. The stiff arm gets away. Kelly all the way down to the 5.
The reason this play opened up is A.J. Gray, the safety, is blitzing. He blitzes from up here, and because the run gets underneath, he takes himself right out of the play. Does a good job. He shakes that arm tackle. There's a heck of a block there. Good effort by Callaway. And you can see the acceleration that John Kelly has.
Dormady to the corner. Throws it out. Does he have it? Hang on. He does. Touchdown, Tennessee. Marquez Callaway.
About that throw, Reese, from the left hash. It's a big-time throw by Dormady. Left hash into that right corner, up in the air, timed up well. And young Callaway goes up and high points the ball away from Lamont Simmons.
Simmons, a transfer from USC, 2015. Some of the depth in the Georgia Tech secondary couldn't make the play in the end zone that time. And as much as the Jackets have dominated this game, you look up, less than a minute to go in the 3rd quarter, and it's only a 1-possession game.
And it was a heck of a drive. 7 plays, 70 yards, up in the air. That's left hash now. Up in the air. That's a long throw. A lot of times on these fades in the college game, either in the middle of the field or the near hash, and they'll take a chance into the short side. Gives you an idea how much trust they have in the arm strength.
15 minutes, 42 seconds of the 3rd quarter here. We should have ourselves a ball game. J.J. Green watches it bounce out of the back of the end zone. Jackets will take over on their 25.
I'm gonna expect to see a different energy from Tennessee here after that score.
Still no Avante Benson. It's Weimer Skirch carrying the load. I think the question might be for Tennessee right now, Kirk. The spirit might be welling, but is the flesh too weak?
That first drive, bringing that fullback, and he just lowers the boom, and that surge at the line of scrimmage goes 3, 4, 5 yards down the field, and even 6, 2nd and 4 now.
What Paul called him yesterday, he's our journeyman here at the B-back.
He also said, hey, he runs a little high. He'll learn.
Marshall's learned well enough to pilot this option attack to a very effective 3 quarters and picking up another first down, and that is where Georgia Tech will start. First down with the ball, 7-point lead when you come back for the final 15 in Atlanta. Starting the 4th quarter here in Tennessee is very enthusiastic about making sure all trash is picked up.
He's running down fourth quarter.
Yeah,
run down to the end of the field.
That's not really what the bucket is for. We're going to put Maria on that story. I think we have an answer. First down for Tech. Here's Cottrell. Had a big run in the third quarter, and he has another one here. Picks up a first down and powers up to midfield. Maria, what's going on with the bucket?
Well, guys, that's called the hunt the ball trash can. So every time the defense gets a turnover, they go ham and dunk it in the trash can. You got to get the trash out of here, okay? It's for takeaways, and they have it in practice. My boy Luke carries it around with the defense, and as soon as they get one, you'll see him run it over here and throw it down.
And Maria early in the game with a big fumble, so then you get to go up and slam it into the bucket.
That was the only turnover of the night. Avante Benson has returned. Afraid if they gave him another play, they get it back. This is what they like to do. Big time shot, and he hauls it in, and he hangs on. What a catch by Quay Searcy.
They snuck him out right here. See how the defense is coming up, expecting run. They lull you to sleep. They wait for the right time. A heck of a throw by Marshall to put it up in the air to give Searcy with the speed enough time to get underneath it. Safeties and linebackers flying up. Abernathy's the only one that's back. Almost got there in position. Put a perfectly thrown ball by Taquan Marshall.
42 yards on that one. He's completed 3 balls for 101 yards. Is that any good? He's had a tremendous debut as the starting quarterback, but he's snuffed out on that one. Watch Taquan Marshall spin the magic bean.
Well, that is a great throw, and let's not forget about the catch and the effort to get his shoulder turned underneath. For young receivers, it's instead of laying out, watch him get his body turned, protects the ball from the ground, and comes up with that big catch.
Searcy averaged 18 yards on his 10 catches last year, and that was a much bigger one at 42, but 18 a pop's pretty good. Marshall going for the end zone. Stewart might have gotten away with a hold there, but he gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
I want you to watch Parker Braun, the left guard, who, by the way, has had a heck of a night. Watch this block that he makes leading the way. He takes out 2 balls, 75, boom, boom. And then a good block on the outside by Brad Stewart. Look at that effort by Stewart. Almost comes up with a hold, but gets away with it, pulls back, and the progressive pylon cam gets knocked out as Marshall gets it to the pylon and into the end zone for the touchdown.
You know what? I think Stewart did a good job. I think that was a good no call there.
Good.
He pulled away just in time.
He was very close. If he held on just a little bit longer, it would have been a hole, but he let go just at the right time.
28-14, an absolute kick in the teeth as a Ramblin' Wreck delivers. Now, but I cannot tell you how impressive this performance has been, not only from the entire team from Georgia Tech, but Taquan Marshall has been outstanding. They kicked that short.
And I love that picture there of those players coming over as he was down stretching. They love and believe in this guy. You can feel it.
Here in Chick-fil-A Kickoff Game. Second game here in Atlanta this weekend. Second matchup between the SEC and the ACC. Third matchup on the weekend. The SEC's won the first 2, but old Paul Johnson over there, he has had the SEC's number. 3-0 against the SEC East last year. Won 5 of the last 6 against the conference, and a 2-touchdown lead here in the fourth quarter. Dormady fires a little bit behind Brandon Johnson.
You know, a lot of people have wondered why Quentin Dormady got the start over Jared Garantano. And one thing I would just tell you, you know, Garantano's a young freshman, but as a backup quarterback, wherever the play callers are, you know, whether you have a headset on or you're signaling plays in, you should be somewhere where the offense is involved. So you're getting the play call and you're learning as the starting quarterback is going through either good or bad moments. He's nowhere to be found.
Set up the screen. Kelly up to midfield, and that'll be good enough for the first down as Tennessee tries to Get a little tempo going here. Antoine Owens chased it down. Volunteers.
And Branch actually sniffed that out, but Kelly got out quick enough, and he had a nice group of linemen downfield. It's another one of those Georgia Tech sitting in zone. They weren't in man. They were in zone. They had their eyes on the ball. I think they were just caught off guard there, and Kelly picks that first down up.
Got 10 on 3rd and 9. Dormady fires it right in the middle and separated from it. The big hit. There he is again, Lawrence Austin.
This guy's a player, man. This kid is a player. 5'9", 187 pounds, coming across left to right in the middle of your screen. Looks like a catch. Boom, separated. Kid is physical. Plays that nickel back, kind of a hybrid where he can cover and where he can get physical as well. It's a guy that's easy to like. Number 20, one of the twins here. Lance Austin, 17's the other.
Callaway, who had the touchdown catch on the last drive, may have another one. Callaway, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give him 6. Big Orange has looked dispirited at times, but you got to give him credit for hanging in there.
They sure do.
Back within a possession.
Lance Austin, we just talked about him. He misses the tackle, and then 14 takes a poor angle to come over to try to knock him out of bounds, Corey Griffin. And we've seen a couple balls now. Some of these young receivers get a chance to make some plays, and young Callaway's having a night.
2 catches, 2 touches.
2 targets, 2 receptions, 2 touchdowns.
And it is a 7-point game. Tennessee not out of it yet, and on what has been a scintillating weekend of college football. We got a little dessert for you, the sweet stuff coming. Georgia Tech has delivered body blow after body blow to Tennessee tonight, but not yet able to put away the Big Orange. A missed tackle on the sideline. Callaway housed it. Quentin Dormady thrown a couple of touchdown passes in the last 2 possessions, and now the Tennessee defense needs to see if it can get a stop. J.J. Green, good coverage there. I think J.J. thought that ball was going to go out of bounds or into the end zone, and then it just died inside the 5. He had to grab it. Jakob Johnson with the stop. Marshall with right around 150 yards rushing tonight. Here he comes again. He'll keep it, in a couple of volunteers chasing down Micah Abernathy and Nigel Warrior, whose father was the great Dale Carter in Tennessee. 2nd down and 7. No bother to pitch this time for Marshall. Marshall's free. 1st down and a lot more into Volunteer territory. Chains will move. Clock will run. Georgia Tech another 1st down and another big run for Marshall.
Watch Cortez McDowell. Watch the defense get concerned with getting outside, and that's what opens up Marshall to cut underneath that. See, they've been getting beat to the outside, so they start to run to the outside, and he cuts it back underneath it behind the block of Benson, 30. Nice block by Benson. He gets just enough of jumper to get him out in the open, but these outside linebackers, defensive ends and corners, you get so concerned about getting to the outside. That's what this guy does a good job. He's taking what the defense is giving him.
409 yards on the ground against the Tennessee defense. Has struggled against the run a year ago. Marshall had 185 yards before that carry. They have about 188 after it. By the way, Jahazel Lee, the left tackle for Georgia Tech on the previous play, went to the sideline. That's Jahazel. They're checking him out. So they've had to do a little moving around on the offensive line. Based on the huddle, it looks as if they've moved Will Bryan over to left tackle, and maybe they brought your guy back in there at guard, Shamir Devine. There he is, big 71 there at right guard. He moved Bryan over to left tackle.
And he'll move people around. Paul Johnson doing a good job, not in a hurry at all.
Quick toss. Cutting into the open field is J.J. Green. J.J. Green, ball is loose. Scramble for it. Did Tennessee come up with it? I think Micah Abernathy got it. Second turnover of the night. And Jonathan Kongbo was the one that knocked it loose.
We got to get the bucket out. Here it comes.
Get the big can.
Well, I was just about to say again, what a great job of Cole. We got it. Oh.
Missed the stuff, got the ball. Celebration less important than the play. This was a huge play. And, you know, we thought it was Kongbo. That was Golden that chased it down. Rashawn Golden forced the fumble from J.J. Green.
Yeah, Green, I think, completely thought he was out in the open. Didn't expect Golden to be able to catch up to him. And then the slam for the turnover. That's operator error by the guy holding the basket. You got to hold that firm.
So that strip, fumble and turnover might have kept Tennessee in this one. Now the Vols have a long way to go, but they've got a chance.
I like
it on the ground to start. Yeah. Plenty of time here.
That's what I was going to say.
To go.
There's no reason to just line up and throw it all over the place, even though that's what they've had success with. I like to see them get back there and put the ball in the hands of maybe their best playmaker. It is their best playmaker, John Kelly. Just remind that Georgia Tech defense, hey, we're not just going to sit back here and let you take shots at our quarterback. We're still going to run the ball.
Want to set up the screen.
He got tackled by Desmond Branch. That's what the flag's for. I mean, Branch did a good job of sniffing it out, but he can't grab a hold of the running back who's trying to get out to the screen.
Well, you don't expect a tackle to run with him.
Well, he's pretty nifty.
Defense number 99. 10 yards from the previous spot. The yardage results in a first down.
Again, Branch is a pretty athletic guy and pretty aware, pretty good instincts. He's right here. He'll right away see this play is trying to be designed. Right here, he just grabs him, just literally trying to tackle him. Tennessee getting further and further away from that goal line of theirs.
I'm not even sure. I think Desmond might have thought he had the ball for a second.
Either that, or he's like, you know what? We'll take the penalty. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, because I'm not getting him any other way, right? So it's a first down for Tennessee. Back to the ground with Kelly.
You know, that's one of those, and I asked, because we've seen so much of quarterback zone read with Josh Dobbs. I said, can Dormandy pull it once in a while? He said, you know, he's athletic enough to do it once in a while, and if he would have pulled that out in that case, he's around the edge for 7, 8, 9 yards. Defense not respecting him in the run game at all. So keep that in mind maybe later in this drive.
Dormandy as Wolf out in the flat. A big hit delivered. The pads pop from the defensive back. It's often one of the Austin twins, Lawrence in this case. Here's Ted Roof, who as a player had 25 tackles in the game against Tennessee back in 1985. He needs some of his guys to turn in that kind of effort on this drive here on third down. Kelly in the flat, turns it upfield, and a big first down for Tennessee.
That is a great call. Not only is it an easy throw, but he's matched up with Lewis right here. See if Lewis can stay with Kelly, who's really quick in space. Easy throw back into the boundary. A matchup that you're going to win. Linebacker can't get out there, and the good thing is he got back and got the ball out quick. He didn't wait. He threw it right away, and the reason that's important into the short field, it gave Kelly enough time to turn the corner and pick up the first down.
They've moved it outside their 30. Dormandy looks like he wants to take a deep shot. He does. Jump ball and caught. Callaway again. Every play a big play for Marquez Callaway tonight. His third catch.
He's starting to become his favorite target as far as big plays are concerned. He just threw this up and hoped that the defensive backs would struggle to adjust to the ball. And that's exactly what they did. They got lost.
A pickup of 40. Callaway, 3 catches, 100 yards, couple of touchdowns. And now Tennessee has moved inside the Tech 30. Kelly slips a tackle. Kelly headed to the 10-yard line. Another first down for the Big Orange.
How about Jack Jones, the left guard in here? Kendrick, watch the left side collapse to allow Kelly to cut back. Watch how important this is on the back side. When you have a tailback like Kelly, and then he makes another guy miss, that was a play designed to go right. His vision brought him back to the left, and he made Austin miss and picked up more yards.
Just over a minute and a half to go. There's Kelly, over 100 yards, and into the end zone. Tennessee's within 1. Seven plays, 93 yards after the turnover. 2 turnovers for Georgia Tech on fumble tonight. The Volunteers have turned them both into touchdowns. An extra point away from the tie. Locked at 28. 89 seconds to play.
Still got 1:29 to go.
Georgia Tech last year, Kirk, was 3-1 in 1-possession games. Now they have 89 seconds. Conventional wisdom is this spread option can't move that fast. And Paul Johnson was just talking about it yesterday. Undaunted in 2-minute situations. Just like the young quarterback Jajuan Marshall has a chance to lead a game-winning drive. Congo's after him. Marshall's got a lot of running room. Marshall across the 40 and gets up close to the 45. Clock will stop to move the change. Remember, Tech burned a couple of timeouts to beat the play clock earlier in the half, so only 1 to work with.
You're defending this offense. It's not just the receivers downfield. Somebody's got to spy the quarterback. Somebody's got to take away his ability to create away from him completely. It's not just them throwing the ball.
Marshall half roll, throw it to the outside. It's complete to June. June was trying to get out of bounds. Didn't get there, but the clock will stop for the first down.
Tennessee electing to go with softer coverage, giving a free release to these wide receivers, and that allows Marshall and the receivers to throw in rhythm, something they work on every day in practice. Got to challenge those receivers.
Into Tennessee territory. Marshall fires to the outside. Another completion, but a good tackle by Tennessee's Mosley to keep the clock moving out there.
I understand you don't want to give up the big play, so you got to give the cushion. But all they need is a field goal. I mean, these games of 8 and 10, they're moving the ball there already at the 37-yard line.
Getting very close, just a couple of yards away from that field goal line. Marshall doesn't need to take a sack. Hit as he throws, has a man out there, and if he'd been able to hold on just a second longer, he would have had a touchdown. So 3rd and 2, 25 seconds to go. You surprised at all that they threw deep there, so close to field goal range? Long field goal for sure.
It's broken coverage. Marshall is slow to get up. He's trying to tell him that he can stay in, but that was a broken coverage by Tennessee. The reason he had to throw deep is because he recognized his receiver, Searcy, is just going right down the middle of the defense, and nobody picked him up. Tennessee catches a big break there.
Okay, now Georgia Tech has to get to the line here. Play clock is down to 7. Benson, first down, Georgia Tech. Clock stops to move the chains. The 30 at the moment. Right here, it will be a 47-yard field goal attempt for the win. Marshall gets out. They raked at the football. Marshall's headed for the boundary, and he gets out of bounds with 10 ticks to go.
How about that? I mean, he is bottled up. It looks like he's down. He's got 2 Tennessee defenders that have him, And he's going to force him to use that timeout, but he outruns both of them. You see pressure from the defensive end, right there from the right, gets away from Colton Jumper, picks up a block, and is able to get out of bounds and also pick up about 6 or 7 yards.
Marshall has set a Georgia Tech record for rushing yards by a quarterback. That is not nearly as important as what happens in the next 10 seconds. Marshall got to get down. They've got a timeout to call. Marshall picks up a few more yards, and Georgia Tech will call the timeout with 3 seconds to go, and they'll bring on the field goal unit to try to beat Tennessee at the horn.
This is what you hope for on a Monday night, Labor Day night, college football. Butch Jones, by the way, that previous play was worked up. He's still working the official because he felt that Quay Cersei, see, he blocked him in the back. And I think he's got a pretty good argument. Watch this from the left as he's trying to get out of bounds. Watch this block right there, push in the back on Golden. And that's what actually allowed him to get to the sideline to get out of bounds. So not only potentially missing a block in the back, also keeps him on his feet to let him get out of bounds. And that Butch Jones, yeah, Butch Jones still livid.
So Sean Davis, a redshirt sophomore from McDonough, Georgia. Last year he appeared in 1 game and had a kickoff into the end zone. His first night as the Tech place kicker, and he will try to win the game from 36 yards out. It is blocked, and we will go to overtime. How about a little free football to camp off this 5 days? Loving this. Not loving that Tennessee saved it. I just want to see some more, baby.
We haven't
Let's
had
show us some more.
enough. We haven't had enough from Thursday night. We'll just keep this opening weekend going.
But you do feel badly for Davis. Let's see who got a hand on if we can. Hard to tell in that mix, but it was deflected. And Tennessee saves itself, at least for the time being. You don't have to go to work tomorrow, do you? Have some free football. So we will go to overtime. Tennessee won the toss, elected to go on defense first. The Volunteers played overtime 20 times. Nobody's played it more. Jajuan Marshall on the pitch. There's Cottrell. Nathan Cottrell gets a first down. He's inside the 15, so a successful first play for the Jackets.
So you got a guy in a dive, you got a guy in a pitch, and then you got to worry about who's going to be able to take the quarterback. So you take the quarterback away, and then you got to deal with a block like this. Outstanding. We've seen this all night from Quay Cersei. Look at him. He's putting the safety Abernathy on his heels, and they pick up a first down on the first play. And it's the execution and the blocking they're getting on the edge there. That time it was Cersei.
Pick up a 12, puts it on the 13, so Tech can get another first down without having to score. Jajuan Marshall, who set a Georgia Tech record for rush yards by a quarterback tonight. Marshall with over 220 yards.
This is
now 39 carries, 3 touchdowns.
Reese, it's not, you know, you get late in the game like this, it's gut check time. This is why you run all the sprints and everything you do that you don't want to do in June and July. This is why you do that, to suck it up right here.
Second down and 4. Marshall driving, knocked down by Cortez McDowell. He'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down. We've seen Marshall knocked out of this game. We've seen him dealing with cramps, and boy, the youngster has played great, and Dormady has pulled his team off the mat to get him to overtime. What a game on Labor Day night.
Probably going to either see Benson up the middle, or you're going to see the quarterback Marshall fake to Benson and follow him right behind. It's what most of their short yardage plays have been.
Here's Benson. Benson driving toward the goal line. He has the first down, but not the touchdown. It'll be first and goal for the Ramblin' Wreck.
Keep going back to this. Just cannot say enough about the line play tonight. They're going up against a lot of big bodies, SEC talented guys. Look at the line surge. Look at them push the orange jerseys backwards. Watch this. That's their goal. Push the line of scrimmage back. That's exactly what they did there for Benson. An easy run, easy first down.
Georgia Tech over 500 yards rushing tonight. They need one more. Marshall diving. Did he break the plane? Big Ten crew going in and looking. Touchdown! Fourth of the night on Marshall's 41st carry. And Georgia Tech jumps on top.
That's a heck of a drive here. You see the tighter splits for the quarterback sneak. I don't think he got it initially, but once he came back down on his feet, lunged forward, that's what got him into the end zone. That, I think it was the second effort.
What?
He's close there, but once he lands, and then he pushes.
Look at Benson get in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Give him a little drive. A little legal push now. Now the all-important extra point. Davis has been fine on extra points. A couple of field goals have been problematic. Seven-point lead, Tennessee's turn.
So if I'm Tennessee here, I'm thinking about, obviously, I need to score a touchdown. If I score a touchdown, with the way that offense on the other side of the field is going to move the ball, I'm going for two.
25 yards away. Ball's down 7, their first possession in overtime. Dormady pulled it. Perk, you've been calling for that for a while, and not the huge play, but about 5.5, maybe 6.
Hey, to start a drive in overtime?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. We've been waiting and waiting. They're not respecting it. Look at the linebackers. They're already taking off, trying to chase down John Kelly. They're misplaced. It's a good job. He's not going to run like Josh Dobbs, but hey, you're going to take 5 or 6 yards every time.
High snap. Dormady did well to get it down and better to get it in the hands of Kelly, who is going toward the end zone. Kelly pushing. And they'll mark him down just short. It'll be first and goal for Tennessee.
Great effort to be able to go up and make that play by the quarterback. But how about young Trey Smith, the right guard? Watch the block that he has on the right side with Marcus Tatum. They're just blowing people off the line of scrimmage. We just talked about Georgia Tech. Now Tennessee's line pushing people back.
Back to Kelly, hit the backfield, extended the football, but did not get it in.
That's an example where Dormady, if he keeps that ball, he walks into the end zone.
But I'm not a fan of doing it anyway on first down.
Yeah.
Too big a risk.
Yeah, I mean, you know how easy that ball could have popped out.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Smacking at the ball.
All right, let's see here. Progressive pylon cam. That's a touchdown.
That is a touchdown.
That's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah.
Or it should be.
That's a good look at it.
That's why we have the best technical crew in the business, right?
Right on the line.
Get all the toys right on the line.
Right on the line. Shows up.
we
mean business.
The ball broke the plane in possession of the ball carrier. As a result, it's a touchdown.
Okay, let's see. That was really easy running it against the Georgia Tech defense. It might be a little bit gassed. And Kirk said initially go for 2 and win it. But they're sending out the extra point unit.
That was a heck of a drive by Tennessee. Started with a quarterback run. Right side of that offensive line. Trey Smith, the right guard, the true freshman, has had a big night. He and Marcus Tatum, the sophomore right tackle, just pushing people back. And again, you give Kelly a little bit of wiggle room, he's going to do some damage.
So Aaron Medley now on, trying to send us to double overtime. Play on. 35-35. This time Tennessee will have it first in the second overtime. Back in Atlanta, a sensational way to cap off this Labor Day weekend in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Tennessee and Georgia Tech tied at 35. And now Quentin Dormady will try to give Tennessee the lead for the first time tonight. They've trailed all evening, and here in the second overtime, they're trying to go on top of the Jackets. Here's Kelly. Could not in the first overtime get him on the ground, but they do after a pickup of about half a yard. Terrell Lewis on the stop along with Antonio Simmons.
Yeah, Lewis just instinctively shoots that gap. He's able to squeeze through the right guard in the center. Keep Tennessee to a short gain.
Time for Dormady. Throws it to Callaway. Callaway's had a huge night. Catch, breaks the tackle, and fights his way down to the 9-yard line. It'll be first down and goal.
Yeah, Callaway at 6'2", matched up against Steph Durham. Uses that club with that left hand to get a little bit of, able to get it away from him just enough. The ball kind of floated there a little bit. I understand trying to put it up or maybe in the back shoulder, but it floated. Durham almost got back, but the separation using that left arm to get away.
Georgia Tech showing blitz. Lewis got back before he made contact and gave Tennessee some free yardage. See if he's still coming or they call it off. He's not. Working on Durham again, and Durham is going to be called for pass interference. And we're throwing it for the freshman, Josh Palmer.
Interference. Defense number 8. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
You and I were talking to the coaches, and they talked about how he moved from Canada down his senior year down to Florida. It's a good call. Trying to work back to the ball, and Durham in his way, not allowing him. Just at the end, he started to try to look for the ball, which would have helped his case, but unable to do that. But Palmer goes down to Florida. He drives an hour to St. Thomas Aquinas one way. Hour back and forth, and ends up having a great senior year and ends up in Knoxville.
Kelly into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. That's Kelly's 4th touchdown tonight.
Kelly has had a big night, and he is a hard back to tackle when he gets down low like that. 128 yards on a night, averaging just under 7 yards a carry with those 4 touchdowns.
Medley to make it a 7-point game, and he does. And now the pressure is on Georgia Tech. The Jackets trailing for the first time tonight.
They come all the way back to win 45-44. Not only was that a big win, but it also helps them to try to build on their season. Week 1, facing adversity, come back. That's the same opportunity that Tennessee has right now after the way this game went early.
Marshall looking for the edge, and he'll pick up about 5. Ball came loose, but Marshall ruled down. Mentioned earlier, nobody's played more overtime games than Tennessee. This is their 20th. 2 overtimes, nothing. 2002, and they played, I think, 7 overtimes against Arkansas. Won the game. You up for that? You got enough stamina?
Absolutely.
We'll stay around all night. This has been fun. 2nd down and 6. Marshall following. It'll be 3rd down. And with that surge, Kirk, sometimes it looks as if a play was stopped cold, and then you look up, watch the yard marker where the ball spot, and you got 3.
Still sets up this 3rd down.
Need to get the ball to the 15. It'll be about 2 yards short, obviously. 2 plays to get it. Down, a touchdown, needing a touchdown. They have the opportunity to tie or take the lead if they were to go for 2. First down, Georgia Tech.
When in doubt, go to Avante Benson up the middle. trust that offensive line, which Paul Johnson does. You know, I always have felt that in this offense, the fullback, what they call the B-back, is the key. When he gets established, everything seems to come off of him. And, of course, he's enjoyed a very good night tonight at that position.
On first down, the counter. Marshall's got a lead blocker. Marshall's inside the 5. Marshall's into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Now
the Georgia Tech, Paul Johnson, they're going to go for 2.
Yep.
But you see this play, it's been all night. The reason it's tough to stop is he's either going to get the block and go to the outside, or if you try to go wide, he can cut underneath it. Here it is coming right to you. And Parker Braun's done this. He's taken out a couple Vols defenders all night on this play. And that will be a play all year that Marshall's going to have a lot of success running outside, and then he can cut back underneath. And of course, there's those receivers. This time Ricky June picking up a great block downfield.
So a night filled with drama here in Atlanta will come down to this final play. A 2-point conversion attempt. Win or lose right here. All in. Marshall has help. He laterals it. Did they get it in? No. They're calling him down. The ball game is over. Darrell Taylor makes the play, and Tennessee wins it.
How fitting that Darrell Taylor makes the play. 19 right there, right is the closest defender, fights off of a block, gets around Braun and lowers the boom. Now he throws the ball. It touches the surface. It's not a lateral, it's a forward pass. Benson tries to get his hands under the ball. The official sees it right away that it touched the ground, waved it off immediately, not to mention he's short.
Didn't get it anyway.
The goal line.
Let's go down to the field. Maria Taylor has Butch Jones with her.
All right, Coach, it all came down to one final play with your defense. What was going through your mind as they took the field on a 2-point?
Well, we talked about our will to win. And we found out about our will to win. And what can I say about Marquez Callaway? He made some big plays for us. A great college football game. Really proud of our players. They kept believing, and we finished. And we found out a little bit about our will to win. Now, we got a long ways to go, but we'll enjoy it and have a short week of preparation.
Yeah, you took your first lead in the second overtime. So how was your team able to change the momentum of this game?
Just continue to believe and continue to work. And we talked about it all week long, that this would show our will to win through our preparation and not giving up. We said we had to have each other's back, and we had that complimentary football.
Quinton Dormady, in his first start as your quarterback, he showed some guts. What did you see from him?
Just gritty stuff that we've seen all camp. Very, very poised. Our offense did a good job of really protecting him the second half. I think the biggest difference was we made plays on the perimeter.
Where does this team go from here? What have you learned, and how do you carry it over into week 2?
We're just 1-0, and obviously we're working to be 1-0 next week. But a great win for us, a great way to get the season started.
All right, congrats, Coach.
Thank you.
Tennessee brought ice tubs so the players could recover before they travel back to Knoxville. They better get some extra ice after this one. A double overtime victory for the Volunteers, 42-41 over Georgia Tech. Tonight's game produced by Bill Bedell, directed by Jeff Evers. Our outstanding crew did a great job covering every angle for you. Don't miss College Game Day and Saturday Night Football on ABC from Columbus this weekend as Oklahoma takes on Ohio State. Time right now to send you to Scott Van Pelt, Sports Center at night. What a lead-in we had for you there, SVP.